I feel like this album is one of my best records. Like, because we wrote so many songs, I picked my top ones. Like, the songwriting is really strong. The songwriting is really strong.
The songwriting is really strong. The songwriting is really strong.
I'm sorry, did we listen to the same album? How is it that Avril wrote and recorded 2 albums before the age of 20 that were more mature than really anything else that she's put out subsequently in her career? Hey neighbor, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John, and this is an episode of Rock Gone Wrong. I was gonna call it Pop Gone Wrong, but I figured some people would take offense to that. The Canadian superstar is traveling back to her roots. The album Let Go, Under My Skin, The Best Damn Thing, they all had elements of pop punk at least to a degree, rockier elements, electric guitars. Avril wanted to bite back, and that's exactly what she did with album 7. When Avril announced her return to pop punk, I think a lot of us, including myself, were excited, but we were kind of like holding our breath excited, because there's good pop punk, there's mature pop punk, there's pop punk that can be done well. But when Avril is kind of riding out the wave of nostalgia that's hitting right now, there is a brand of TikTok pop punk, or else I'll call it pop punk light, where the lyrics are vapid, shallow, it's riding the sound of bands like Blink-182, and then adding some trap beats, adding some relatable lyrics, and not really having much substance to back itself up. After Head Above Water, a very head-scratching album that felt very bland, by the numbers, safe and calculated, especially for someone who has battled as many things in life as Avril has, it seems like she has a hard time translating these struggles to tape in a personable way. I wasn't sure what direction she would take, but it was refreshing to hear the lead single Bite Me. It has a lot of sass, it definitely slaps you in the face, and it kind of has that attitude that's evocative of a feeling of nostalgia, but it also creates something fresh. It's ridiculously catchy, but it is way overproduced, that it feels a little bit too on the nose lyrically and safe, especially with some of the wah-ohs and na-na-nas. If you're wondering how John Feldmann serving as the primary producer stacked up, and did he bring his traditional calling cards? Oh yeah, he brought them in spades. We got plenty of wah-ohs, you need your la-la-las, we got your na-na-nas, we got it all, baby! It's kind of oddly hilarious how we as a society kind of lift those up that regress or fall back to their old ways, and it's like we're encouraging Avril to have a midlife crisis, because these lyrics don't sound like a seasoned veteran from somebody who is 37 years old. It feels like it was written by a preteen who is going through their first breakup ever. Love sucks, but I'm gonna spell it S-U-X so you know that I'm a little bit extra quirky. And also, I love it when you hate me. Why don't we fight? We break up, we say yes, we say no, we say every cliche in the goddamn book! Alright John, let's tone it back for a minute, because this record is not inherently awful. It does have nostalgic, fun qualities, and I can see why people would get excited about some of the more anthemic tracks. It's just that it gets bogged down by repetition. I mean, Travis Barker is drumming on this thing. Of course, it's endlessly impressive, but how many times can we hear him do the same thing? These tracks don't really differentiate themselves. Kudos for sticking to a theme, and I guess it does have a lot of energy behind it. It's a quick 33-minute album. It comes in bouncing off the walls. It's like somebody snorted a line of pixie stick dust, and then that sugar high rode all the way to the sunset until it comes crashing down finally on track 11, Dare You to Love Me, and then you get that one last rush for a hit of dopamine right at the end, Break of a Heartache. They say not to judge a book by its cover, but just glancing over at the track list, you can kind of see how paper thin this experience is gonna be. It really holds no weight, and I guess if you're looking for that simple, short burst of nostalgia that will take you back to the early days of Avril's career, along with some updated collaborations with Black Bear, Machine Gun Kelly, and you guessed it, Mark Hoppus, then this might actually scratch an itch for you. But to anybody else who is looking for more substance, more personality from Avril, I don't think this album really carries that. I found myself consistently torn because this album really does capture some good musical performances. On Cannonball, for instance, we come out of the gate with a smashing guitar riff that sounds fantastic. It's just that they try to cram a lot into these very short, mostly less than 3-minute songs, and the the ideas can range from solid to
What the fuck was that?
cringe the day away to F you, where Avril declares that she's so fucking over her ex. It's a song with endlessly cheesy lyrics that are just unavoidable. It's a problem that plagues much of this record, especially once we get to cuts like Kiss Me Like the World is Ending. Musically, this album has more in common with The Best Damn Thing than really anything else, but even that album went a little bit more ballad heavy, at least in places. We had like When You're Gone, Keep Holding On, both of which are great tracks. And the only ballad here, Dare You to Love Me, just spouts off endless cliches. It's like, I can't open up my heart again. I don't know if I'm going to love. Can I feel this relationship? And it's just groan-worthy, agonizing, because it doesn't feel like she's allowing herself to artistically grow. Every human being is different, and I think some of us are a little bit more simple in how we conduct ourselves, and it feels like Avril sees things a little bit more in like black and white. You're either in or you're out. Those themes and that attitude kind of dominates the majority of Love Sux, and it can come across as immature or uninformed or just kind of out there and weird or tacky. There's 3 features on the record: Machine Gun Kelly, Black Bear, and Mark Hoppus, and out of those 3, Mark's is easily the best, and I really like what they crafted on All I Wanted. It's not only the best song on the album by a landslide, it's a genuinely great tune that sees them making perfect use of harmonizing their voices, teaming up for something that feels like a curveball for the album. We didn't get a ton of pace changes, but the transition from verse to chorus here, and even Mark's verse, is just incredible. Polar opposite of that, we have Love It When You Hate Me with Black Bear, where he cannot stop reminding us that yes, I'm sad, but also I would do anything for you because for you, I'm fucking blind. MGK's feature was less offensive. I don't think their voices really mesh that well, and they don't have a ton of chemistry, but I wouldn't say that he necessarily ruins the song for me. I like the standard guitar riff on this one. It rips right through you, and Avril does a good job at being in command on this track. I think the first 3 really do capture a nice energy. We ride the wave out with the opener Cannonball, even though it's all over the place, and then by the time we get to Bite Me, you're kind of having a solid time. From there, proceed with caution, because it's an assorted bag of goodies and baddies, and we get tracks like Avalanche that start off kind of good. You think, oh, she's finally gonna get in touch with her feelings a little bit more, and then it breaks out for this very simple-minded chorus that doesn't do anything to break or shake the mold. Avril's voice still sounds really commanding and clear, and I think her range is definitely still intact. It's just that there's a few places where the auto-tune is a little bit too noticeable and it can be distracting, but I don't think Avril is necessarily the primary problem here in terms of vocals. It's the songwriting. It's the production. It's everything feeling plastic and cheap, at least in places. It's not always entire songs being bad, it's just that the overall idea ends up collapsing on itself by the time it's over. Not a ton to get lost in or hooked by in this topsy-turvy world of romance. I'm gonna give her new album Love Sux a 2.5 out of 5. Thank you for watching this episode of Rock Gone Wrong. This was all just my take and my opinion, so I would love to hear from you guys in the comments section. Please hit that like button and subscribe for the love of music. If you want to see my top 10 Avril songs, then check out this video here, or check this for a throwback review of Under My Skin. All of my socials can be found in the description, and I'll be back soon for more on ARTV.